Okay, happy crafters, welcome back to the Cricut Beginner Series. We have covered so much in this series already. We've done our first, I don't know why I did it like that. We have covered so much in our first few weeks in this series. We've done our first heat transfer vinyl project, our first adhesive vinyl project, our first greeting card / paper cut project, and now today we are doing our first sticker making project. So if you missed those previous videos, definitely go check them out on my channel. They are really good to watch. Leading up into this video, they are in like order for a reason. You could totally start here if you want to, but if you're just getting your Cricut out of the box, I highly recommend going back and kind of watching them in order to get the most out of the series. And while you're there, go ahead and subscribe and hit the little notification bell so you don't miss a thing, because I'm posting here every week and I would love to be along the ride with you on your Cricut journey. Okay, so with all that being said, let's go ahead and get into the supplies you're gonna need for this project. This is the file I'm using today. It's this very cute little bookworm file. It is on Design Bundles and it's included with a Plus membership. If you don't have a Plus membership with Design Bundles and you're getting into Cricut and you're looking for files, I highly recommend checking them out and seeing if it's right for you. It's a great way to have access to a massive library of files that you can download anytime for a monthly fee. That being said, let's get into the rest of our supplies. You're gonna need a standard grip Cricut mat. I really wanted that to like be more dramatic, but that's fine. A pen, a little squeegee of some kind, or a credit card if you have one of those, a straight edge paper cutter. This one is Fiskars brand from Amazon, but you could also get like the one that comes with a Cricut tool pack or something like that. Sticker paper, I am using Betke Premium Labels brand. It is also from Amazon. You just need the 8.5 by 11 sheets that don't have like any grids or breaks or anything like that. Straight up full page sticker, essentially. And then you're also gonna need a laminating sheet. When I'm doing regular laminating, I use Avery self-adhesive laminating sheets, but today we are doing holographic laminating, which is chef's kiss. So fun. This is Cosrk brand, Cosrk. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but they are premium holographic laminating sheets. I love these. It's like my third pack of these that I've bought. I really stand by them. They are from Amazon. I like that they have grids on the back, which will come in handy in a little bit, you'll see. But also they have lots of different patterns for the holographic laminate. Some cute little seasonal ones, like right now they're promoting like heart holographic, which is so cute. And you can kind of make like a little multi-pack of whatever you want. So it has 4 different patterns within it, which you'll see in a minute. Very cool. That is all the materials you need. So let's hop over to the computer and I'll show you how to download your file and how to upload it into Cricut Design Space. So here we are in Design Bundles. This is the file that we're using. So cute. So I'm just gonna hit download now, and I'm going to hit download again because I've already downloaded this file once. And when you download it, it's gonna come in as a zip file. Now, unzipping zip files is very easy. All you have to do is click on it. So when you open it up in your Finder, it's gonna be there as a zip file, and if you just double click it, it'll unzip. So now that we've done that, I'm going to hop into Cricut Design Space and I'll show you how to import the file that you just downloaded. Here we are in Cricut Design Space. If you just opened Cricut Design Space, you might be on this screen. This is kind of your home screen. You can toggle over to your canvas via this tab here at the top. So we're just gonna click Canvas, and then in the middle-ish lower left, we're gonna hit upload, and we're gonna hit upload image, and then you can either drag and drop your file or hit browse. We're gonna open that folder that we just unzipped, and inside is a .svg file and a .png file. Now, it's important to note, we've talked about this in previous videos, so I'll give you the little Cliff Notes version. .svg is the multi-layered cut file if we were gonna cut this out of vinyl, and .png is a flattened image where all the color and all the layers are flattened into one layer, which is used for sublimation or print then cut. And because we're making stickers today, that is a print then cut file, so we want the .png version of this file. So I'm just gonna double click on that. It's gonna pull right into Cricut Design Space, so I can hit continue. Then Cricut's gonna pass you through its kind of little editor that's native to Cricut Design Space. Because we downloaded this from Design Bundles, it's already ready to go, so we're gonna hit apply and continue. And then Cricut's gonna give you 3 options for what kind of file you want this to be. It's got kind of like an AI multiple layers option now that's sort of new. It's gonna guess how to separate this file into layers, or you can have a single layered cut file or a flat graphic. And flat graphic is for print then cut files, which is what we are doing today. So that's what we want. We're gonna click on that and then we're gonna hit continue. This is the screen where you could rename it if you want to. We don't care about that, so we're gonna hit upload. It's gonna come in probably pretty big. Yes, massive and it's staring straight into my soul. We don't need a 27-inch wide sticker. So what we're gonna do is go up here to the size portion, make sure our proportions are locked. So you want this little lock to be closed. That just means when I adjust the width, the height will adjust accordingly. And let's drop that width down to about 2, hit enter, and now we have a much more reasonably sized sticker. And then we're gonna make a whole sticker sheet. And the reason for that is because if I printed this out and cut it now, it would use up like just this little corner of my sticker paper here. And I really wanna maximize the use of this page. Technically, you could bring in a bunch more files and make like a whole sticker sheet with a bunch of different stickers on it. But because this is a beginner tutorial, we're just gonna use this one sticker and we're just gonna duplicate it to make it just a little bit simpler. So we need kind of a guide to show us how much space we have to work with. And there is a max print then cut size for 8.5 by 11 sheets, which is what we are working with today. And it is 7.4 by 9.9 inches. Now there is like a 100th place decimal point there. It's like 7.4 something by 9.9 something. I always forget. And so I just do 7.4 by 9.9. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna click on shapes and we are gonna just bring in a square and then you can toggle that closed. So we have our square here. Now when we resized our worm, we locked our proportions. This time we want to unlock them. So we're going to click unlock and we're going to make the width 7.4 and then we're going to make the height 9.9. Now we're not going to cut this square. We're not going to print this square. Sorry, rectangle. We're not going to do anything with it. Actually, it's just a guide mark for us to know how much space we have to work with to fill our 8.5 by 11 sheet. So I'm going to drag that layer down to the bottom so my sticker can sit on top of it. And I just did that by literally clicking and dragging over here in the layers panel. And now I can duplicate my worm using the duplicate button. Duplicate so you have 3 of them and make yourself a little row here. Now you want to have a little bit of space in between them just so your Cricut doesn't like morph them together into one sticker, but you don't really have to have that much space. So I'm going to create a little row of 3 and then I'm going to hold down my shift key and select all 3 of them. And then I'm going to duplicate that row of 3 times until I have 4. And then I'm just going to start moving those into place using shift click whenever I need to select a whole row at a time. This worm is looking like scarier and scarier every time I duplicate it. And then just shifting up that top row just to make myself have enough space there. So it looks like we have enough to make 4 rows of 3 each. That's great. And that just about fills out my little 7.4 by 9.9 rectangle, which is all the space that I have in Cricut Design Space. And again, that's just because Cricut Design Space limits how big you can print then cut on an 8.5 by 11 because it's going to include some registration marks, which you're going to see in the next step. So once we have everything laid out, we can go back over to the layers panel and hit the little eyeball next to the square rectangle, and it's gonna toggle its visibility off because again, we don't want to cut it, we don't want to print it, we don't want to do anything with it. It was just a guide. So now we're done with that and we can get rid of it. Then you're gonna highlight your entire sticker sheet and press flatten. And what flatten does is it's the print then cut version of attach, which we talked about in one of our previous videos. I can't remember which one. Flatten just basically tells Cricut Design Space, hey, I've already organized this exactly how I want it. So don't go moving anything around at the next step. We don't want any of these little worms to move because if we don't flatten, Cricut will cut it in what it thinks is the most space efficient manner. But we've already organized this to max out our space. So we want to just flatten it. We want it all to be one little layer that we can move around however we want so that Cricut cuts it and prints it exactly like this. So once you've flattened, you're ready to make it. So then we're gonna hit make it. And at this step, your default material size might go to this 11.7 by 16.5. If it does, no problem. Just hit the little drop down menu and change it to 8.5 by 11. We don't need to mirror, so we can ignore that. And then one other thing that I like to do is we're gonna be laminating this. So laminating gets a little bit easier if our design is kind of in the center of our page. And that's just because it keeps us away from the registration marks, which I'll explain in a minute why that is kind of problematic. So I take my whole design and I just kind of drag it down a little bit more towards the center of my page. This isn't an exact science. This is just bump it down a little bit, get it away from that top left registration mark just a smidge. And then once you've done that, you can hit continue. The first thing Cricut's going to prompt us to do is print it because after all, this is a print then cut. So this is when you're going to load your sticker paper into your printer. Now everybody's printer is different. My printer feeds through like this. So because it feeds through like that, I need to put my sticker paper in with the backing side facing up so that it can feed it through, print on it, and then feed it out the tray. So look at how your printer feeds paper. If yours is like mine, you're gonna be doing the backing side up. So go ahead and load it into your printer, and then we will send this off for printing. Okay, so now you've loaded your sticker paper into your printer. We're ready to print. So we're gonna hit send printer right here. It should bring up your printer by default, but if it doesn't, you can use the little drop-down menu to select the printer that you're printing on. And then I'm going to turn off add bleed. It's on by default. This is one that I highly recommend. Print 2 copies. If you've never done a sticker before, this is a great time to test out and see what you like better and what works. For my specific printer, which is the HP Envy 6055, I find that turning the bleed off gives me a slightly better result, but your printer might be different. So I think print one with the bleed on, print one with the bleed off, compare them, see what you like, write it down somewhere in a note on your phone so you don't forget, and stick to it. I'm turning the bleed off because that's what works better for mine, and then I'm gonna hit print. Look at these little cuties. I'm obsessed. Okay, they're so cute. I cannot wait to make these into full stickers. So let's move our Cricut mat for just a second. We will need him, but not right this second, because we're gonna go ahead and put our holographic laminating sheet on. So this part looks complicated. It's not. It's very easy, and you've totally got this. What we're doing here, let me tell you why we do this, because otherwise you might be tempted to skip a step. Do not. So we've got our laminating sheet. I'm gonna pull one out of here. This is called Gem pattern from the little Cossack holographic laminating sheets. This is what it looks like. I don't know if you can see that really well. Very fond of this one. And basically the dealio is if I just put my holographic sheet over top, it's gonna cover the registration marks. And the registration marks are actually really important when you're cutting with a Cricut, because the Cricut is gonna use its little internal camera to read these registration marks. They have data like housed inside them, and it tells the Cricut where exactly to cut to get a nice tight cut and precise cut around your stickers. So if these registration marks can't be read by the Cricut, it's really gonna struggle to give you an effective and like precise cut. So what we need to do is cut this holographic laminating sheet down so our registration marks are not covered. The glossiness and like the reflectiveness of the holographic laminating sheet, the camera will just like bounce right off of it and it can't read the registration marks. So it's important that we do that. So this is why I like that this specific brand has this little like guide mark on the back, because it's about to make this part a lot easier. I'm gonna line my sheet here slightly below the top registration marks and slightly to the right of the left hand registration marks. And then I'm just gonna make a little mark right next to where the registration mark starts in the top right. So in the top right, I'm gonna make a little vertical tick mark. And then in the bottom left, I'm gonna make a little horizontal tick mark, just right above where that registration mark is. You wanna give it like a little bit of wiggle room in case you don't align it perfectly when you lay it down, but not so much that it's not gonna cover your design. So that's kind of a fine line to walk. You'll get better at it. And once you've made those little guide marks for yourself, you don't need your pen anymore, so you can put that away. And we're just gonna use our straight edge to trim this bad boy down. So I'm gonna line up to that vertical tick mark that I made and cut. And then I'm gonna rinse repeat for the ones on the left-hand side that I made with that little horizontal tick mark. So I'm just gonna push this up against the edge here so everything is straight, and then cut. And now you don't need your straight cutter anymore. We're done with that as well. We have a nice little laminating sheet that covers our design, but not the registration marks. So now we are gonna peel back the top of our holographic laminating sheet. How many times in this episode can I say holographic laminating sheet? Apparently 100. This is a lot easier if you have nails. I feel like mine are pretty short, so I struggle. There we go. So you're gonna start peeling it back, but don't get too excited. We don't wanna peel the whole thing back. We just wanna peel the first like 1.5 inches or so and fold the backing down. So basically what you're doing is you're creating like a little top piece that's got the backing peeled off, and then you have like this little flap right here where you folded it back. And then what you're gonna do is get it nice and flat and line it up right above that bottom registration mark, keeping it as straight as you possibly can, but you know, we're eyeballing it. And then lay it down gently and flatten it out with your hands. Now, before you flatten it out, if you get a bubble here, gently peel it back and replace it, because that bubble is only gonna get bigger in the next step. The other thing I like to do is kind of lay out and make sure that I'm covering my whole design, which I am, so I'm good. That means I've done it pretty straight. And I'm just pressing it down with my hands. And then I'm gonna peel it back, grab that little flap I made a second ago, place my squeegee right in that crevice, start to pull that flap, and then as soon as my squeegee is kind of underneath it, I can let go and just press the whole thing out. It looks harder than it is. I promise once you do it, you're gonna be like, oh, I get it. And it's gonna be fine. And then you can use your squeegee to finish laying it down flat. So now we have a beautifully laminated, holographically laminated sticker sheet that is not covering our registration marks. Now, sometimes I don't get this as like evenly aligned as I did today. If that's you today and your holographic laminating sheet covering like a piece of one registration mark or even most of 1 or 2 registration marks, you're probably still okay. Where you're gonna have trouble is if it's like kind of covering a little bit of all of them or most of them. I have had that happen before and my cut was whack. The more you can keep the laminating sheet off those registration marks, the better you're gonna be. And now it's time for us to put this on a Cricut mat. So grab your regular grip Cricut mat. It's the green one. Mine has a little bit of debris on it. And I'm going to place my sticker sheet in the top left of the Cricut mat. So I'm just gonna place it there and use my hands to smooth it down. You could use your squeegee for this as well, but it's totally not needed. And then we're gonna select the medium cardstock setting with more pressure. I use more pressure whenever I have a laminating sheet on top because it just adds like another layer of thickness. This is gonna give us a really good die cut sticker. And what a die cut sticker is the kind that cuts all the way through. So we're gonna have individual bookworm stickers that are cut all the way through that we can then peel and use whenever we want. You might be watching this and thinking, oh, but I don't want that kind of sticker. I want like a sticker sheet where I can peel each individual sticker off of my sheet as I want to use it. If that's the case, the setting you're going to select today is sticky note setting, and again, selecting more pressure. The general rule of thumb that I use is if I'm using a laminating sheet, I'm selecting more pressure. If I'm not using a laminating sheet, I use default pressure. And then my 2 go-to settings are medium cardstock for a good die cut sticker, which is cut all the way through, or sticky note setting for kiss cut stickers, which is for a sticker sheet that you want to peel each sticker off individually. So, whew, got all that in. What we're gonna be doing today for die cut stickers is medium cardstock on more pressure because of our wonderful little laminating sheet here. And we've already selected that. We are good to go. Let's load this into our Cricut and let it cut. And then we're really done with this project at that point. Okay, so at this point, your Cricut's loading unload button should be flashing. So we're just gonna slide our Cricut mat under the little brackets and press that flashing button. And the Cricut is gonna first make sure that your mat is aligned and everything is straight. And then once it does that, the go button will start flashing. Now we press the flashing go button. And if you've never done a print and cut before, the first thing you're gonna notice is that it's doing something very weird and it's not doing any cutting, which can be kind of stressful if you're not prepared for it. You're gonna see it doing this, which is just kind of going over little pieces of the paper and making a very strange noise. What it's doing right now is reading all 4 of those registration marks to make sure it knows where to cut. So this is actually a very important part of the process. Let it do it, and then it's gonna move on to cutting here in just a second when it finishes this 4th registration mark. There it goes, and now it's gonna cut out each individual sticker. So let's let it do its thing, and then we will meet back up together to peel them off of our mat. Okay, she's done. So the way you're gonna take this off of the mat is you're literally just gonna flip your mat over and kind of focus on peeling the mat away from the sticker paper and not the other way around. And then what you're gonna be, what happened there? I have never in my life seen this happen. Look at that. It like ripped it or something. I've never had this happen. I just like ripped up like just the sticker part of one of them. So bizarre. So that one's gone. Let's get rid of that guy. Aw, the little worm's still cute though. Sad. Okay, I do have quite a bit of debris on my mat. So we're just, again, we're not talking about that. Oh my goodness. These are in separate pieces. No! Yeah, I truly can't believe that. I've made a grave error. I just didn't think to check this. So this is like 2 separate stickers. It's the little bookworm, so cute, and then the word bookworm. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and remove this from our mat. If you stick around to the end of this video though, I will show you how you could connect this and make it into like one sticker, which is what I intended, but I just forgot to look. I forgot to check it. We will go back into Cricut Design Space in just a minute and I'll show you briefly. It's like a 1-step process how to fix that. But for now, just remove your stickers from your mat. So we're just gonna peel them with like kind of an up motion, trying to keep them from bending as much as possible. There's like a little middle piece in the middle of the worm that has like a little hole. It should get left behind on your mat, and then you can just use like a little scrapey to get it off. But if one of them doesn't pull away, I'll show you in a second. I mean, both of these make really cute stickers, but okay, this one did not punch away. So you can see like the little hole is still there. I'm just gonna use my fingernail to kind of get it to pop through, and it just cuts right out. Let's keep going. Let's get these little worms removed from their backing here. And I seriously cannot believe I did that, but that's okay. That's okay. Mistakes happen. It's kind of the thing with crafting. Somebody was watching this video, saw me forget to check if the pieces were connected, and was probably just yelling at their screen like, no! Sometimes it'd be like that. I promise though, the fix is like very, very simple, so have no fear. And honestly, I'm not gonna refilm it just to do it like perfectly. I would much rather show you the real life of crafting, you know? Because I do stuff like this all the time, and I've been crafting with my Cricut for years. So let me show you the cute little finished products, and then I'll show you how you could fix this, how you could do it and keep them in one piece if you wanted to. These are still usable stickers, and they're still really cute. You don't actually have to have the bookworm part to make it a cute sticker. Let me show them to you. Okay, let's talk about how you could make sure that that didn't happen and your piece was like, your sticker was all one piece. Let's hop back into Cricut Design Space. So I'm gonna unflatten this. I can just press unflatten. Actually, let's just delete our duplicates because we're gonna do this to 1 and then we're gonna fix it. So I'm gonna make it bigger so I can see what I'm working with. And now looking at it, I'm like, duh. I can see like there's a space right here between bookworm and the actual worm. And that space is gonna cut. So operator error. You could use this little create sticker function. I'm gonna be honest, I've never used it because before create sticker was an option, we just used offset, and now I know how to use offset, so that's what I use. Plus the create sticker is for Cricut Access subscribers only, and offset is free and does the same thing. So we're gonna click on offset. You can see as soon as I click on it, the default is 0.25 and it has create. You can see there's this little blue line like around everything. Adjust the slider until it is the width that you prefer. I like 0.25 about. I think it makes like a nice quality sticker. And then you can choose whether you want the corners to be rounded or squared off. For this one, I like them rounded, and then you hit apply. So it's gonna come in black automatically, but I like to change it to white. So I'm gonna go up to the color here and change it to white. I think it just, sometimes I change it to a color that kind of complements the sticker, but in this case, I think white is nice. And then we're gonna select the entire thing and flatten it. And now we have this little backing on our sticker that is gonna keep it like all in one piece. So that's how you would prevent that problem from happening that happened to us. So now we just have these cutie little worms, but it doesn't say bookworm. And we have these cutie little bookworm stickers with no worm. You could still like put them on something together if you wanted to. But that is how you could redo this project if you wanted it to all be in one piece. And note to myself and to everyone watching, don't forget to make sure all the pieces of your sticker are connected somehow before you cut them, or create an offset like we just did to connect them. Okay, crafty besties, I hope you loved this video. I hope you learned a lot about sticker making. Let me know in the comments what you want to learn next, or if you have any remaining questions about this process. As always, you can find me on social media at It's Laura Lambert. Make sure you're subscribed to my channel as well so you can see all of the wonderful Cricut and laser crafts and sublimation crafts that we love to do over there. I'm also starting to include some more just like lifestyle content. I would love to know how you guys feel about that, what you want to see. There's so much that like swirls through my brain about what I want to include, and it kind of feels overwhelming sometimes on what to include over there. So if you have ideas for what you want to see on my channel, let me know in the comments below. Until next time, happy crafting.